Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master of Propaganda. We are off here to an exciting 1v1 on Langraske. We have been, I drink, therefore I am, fighting for Germany. And zur Panzergrenadier Division Feldherrnhalle going up against HOI Dots. Dots here fighting for the 61st Rifle Corps, with conscripts on the way, noting commanders ranging enough guard rifle, terror tactics, and reserve army. A definitely slightly more unique combination of commanders here available for us on this glorious day. I drink therefore that I am on the island of elite troops, Storm Doctrine, that's a fancy one, and Lightning War. Definitely a bit of emphasis there on the Tigers in one way or another, or Gewehr for the Fries. A bit of overlapping going on there, but that's also the same about Dots here, with the howitzers in particular being a bit of an overlapping thing, but also submachine guns. In fact, howitzers is the common move here between all three commanders. Looks like Dots likes artillery of the heavier kind. We're noting here several grenadier squads arriving for I drink therefore I am. We'll just call him Helmut because that's going to be a lot bloody easier. And there's not really much you can sort of pull up for sort of abbreviation out of any of that bit. So, third squad on the way for Dots. Grenadier advancing slowly. Noting here that Helmut is spreading out rather awfully much within the first few initial minutes, which could prove to be disadvantageous for him, in particular since Dots is not. So if Dots catches Helmut here in the wrong position, he could easily end up getting a rather bruise. So there are some things there that Helmut here needs to be careful with, considering how he's actually approaching that and marching out. Noting an MU-40 arriving there after the two grenadiers. Comets here flanking, conscripts rushing in there. And looks like in this case it was a bit too cockfight nonetheless. We do see Yuri going down here in a blaze of glory, but already now they have close comets flanking in further. Good. Nice tactics here, closing in the grenadiers, although at the same time the grenadiers are able to do some damage. Now they are definitely outgunned. We are seeing more grenadiers moving in. But sadly here, Helmut's slight flaw there of spreading out too thin or rather cost him dearly without doing that much damage. He lost two grenades, his opponent lost two grenades, but the conscripts are definitely cheaper than the grenades. Again, we see him sort of pulling off the same trick with more conscripts supporting. Comets are getting suppressed while all of this is going on. Grenades on the hand now suffering much more gravely. He should not have moved, and overall he should have stuck to cover. Always stick to cover if possible.
Comrade, we have the point.
So right there, Helmut having a bit of a rough start, a few tactical mistakes, costing him rather dearly in map progression, but also overall in terms of casualties actually puts things a bit ahead there for Dots. We are seeing additional grenades around Goldstein in this MG42 in a bit of an awkward position, and there we go. Dots taking advantage of this to overwhelm the MG42, if possible for him. Looks like there we go, retreats. What should have happened? Pioneers moving in here, and there we go. Looks like Helmut is finally organising things a bit better here. Striking back his opponent, but already Dots is gaining a lot of ground here. Neatly following up with the support weapon Campanea.
Area secured.
There's him marching out and coming in under fire from another squad of conscripts, quickly pulling back there, realising this is not a good place. Goes there close to half health, warming up here. Going for conscripts, to pull up slight cover. We are seeing the grenades turning up here in some larger cover themselves. Another squad moving in from the other side. We are seeing here that Dots realises this situation might not be a good one for him and begins pulling back here towards something more defensible, because he probably realised he'd be flanked from here. So nice tactical sense right there from Dots. Nice tactical sense. Because they're being held up, being surrounded now by the grenadiers, and now it's Dots having sort of... Oh! Right here though, bad mistake there by Helmut. He knew the conscripts were there, but he actually moved the grenadiers out there into negative cover right in front of him. And the conscripts there were not moving. Overall, rifle units, like grenadiers or conscripts, shoot a lot less accurately when moving. So overall, since they were not moving, they overall had the major advantage there. So that was a bit of a mistake there, I would say. Another MB-42 arriving by the looks of it. MB-42 setting up to secure the position here. Helmut definitely stumbling a bit here in the beginning. Definitely stumbling a bit. Might have gotten a bit too overconfident here. Might have had too few easy opponents, as I believe his opponent Dots is actually in the top 100. And Helmut here is actually close to being in the top 100, so they're hardly bad. And again, you know, A quick reminder, sending in a link to the bloody leaderboards where you are on them.
Enemy forces capturing
I'm a lot less likely to not pay attention to anyone who don't.
Squad standing by.
Or at least, consider them as a last resort.
What do you have for us?
Pioneers are getting gunned down by conscripts.
Return fire.
Not really good fight there for him. Push the troops taking up there, Grenadiers there, fighting, MG4 sending up, not really good, not really good. Oh, he's actually making a mistake, he's pulling out in front where there's more windows. I mean, when finding a building, count the windows. Count the windows. In fact, I just paused here to sort of point out again. 3 windows, 4 windows. 3 windows is better, and particularly with conscripts, it generally means you get only half damage out of them overall. So, I mean, he should actually have stuck there. Little pointer there. Count windows. Always count windows.
Ready.
And there go Molotovs up here for dots. Quick popping on the Grenadiers, forcing them away here. Conscious they work close to actually taking a Teutonic thrashing. Commies are losing out to the Grenadiers. That is to be expected. More conscious falling back. Troops hanging about. And we're noting a 4th Grenadier squad. But looks like the Pioneer went down. And anything but a blaze of glory. Actually, he's getting 2 MGs and 4 Grenadier squads by the looks of it. And looks like here Dots has arrived with an 82mm mortar. Looks like here that Helmut has gone for a pretty heavy field presence, then a pretty heavy tier 1. We've got to see how this further works out for him. But now he's actually pushing back here. Dots might have himself overextended things just a wee bit, leaving an opening here, but of course at the same time he probably wasn't expecting his opponent to go for that heavier tier 1, which I suppose is not entirely hard to understand. I mean, most German players tend to go for a medium to light opening, but right here Helmut went rather heavy in. Lots of initial units to sort of keep up the pressure there. Of course, we're arming mortar here, and we probably will be seeing a maximum there, in fact, going in for Dots. So Dots should be able to lay back some pressure in return. And of course, a mortar is always quite handy when it comes to dealing with support units, amongst other things.
Fresh meat has
And
arrived.
before setting up here, looks like he's putting more emphasis on the right-hand side of the map rather than the left side. And some Pioneers, I'm guessing, is indeed the Pioneer.
Riflemen ready.
Maxim pulling up. Bit of mortar rounds going in. Close to getting the MG there. Slight fallback here, realising he's within the ages of the mortar and realising that's not really fun. He's trying here to cover up the flank of the MG4, trying to delay the counter long enough for the MG4 to fire up, but sadly does not quite have full success. But there we go, light machine gun going up the Grenadiers, Molotov going up the Grenadiers there as well. But these counters might be forced to pull back, and there we go. But now with that little bit there, he's pulling in further. One control of here, countering rather severe German resistance, one has actually managed to do a bit of damage. Machine gun fire, proving to be an insurmountable wall here for the Russian attackers of the Rifle Corps. More and more troops being poured in, and no vehicles for armor so far, no sign of commander either. Pioneers are moving up, no sign of taking up from Helmut. Although, actually, no, we do see a light mechanized company up. And we're actually noting here that he's Dots is laying down a smoke screen here towards the point, perhaps to cover against the enemy 42. Interesting thought. Rare to see that, but not a bad idea.
Ready. Mortar ready for orders.
Worried about the MG42 there. And mines up there, good position there, good position by Dots. Good in mining, always worth pointing out. More light machine guns are being handed out here now to Helmut's Soldaten. Not sure why then proceed to sort of march out here when he knew there was an MG42 there. It seems a bit of a rock move. Mortar sitting about clearing out the MG42 by the right hand field point. A bit the problem there. Few points, both of them are being denied. The fascists are dug in pretty hard.
We are losing territory.
Bit of resource here being floated. Field gun or maybe a fuel cache now could be an idea.
Supply lines have been cut.
There we go. My man did a nice chunk of damage, and there we go. We're just seeing a massive advance here. All Grenadier squads equipped with light machine guns, fitting of a Panzer Grenadier division or a Panzer Grenadier battalion, part of a Panzer division.
The enemy
since a Panzer Grenadier unit would have had a larger allocation of light machine guns compared to a regular infantry division. Country managed to actually sort of outflank the wall here of machine guns that Helmut had put up, in fact forcing one MG42 away. Still a bit of pressure going on, but now at the same time, where Helmut has pushed up here in the centre, we are seeing here that Dots is making a nice, good, strong strategic decision. Actually shifts a lot smaller forces sort of begin harassing there, realising that if everything is over here, then there's nothing over there. Very good and sharp reaction there, good reaction. Popping on, in fact, here to Helmut. Getting a Panzer on it. Helmut apparently feeling rather worried, despite having held fuel points here for some time, is apparently rather worried about some kind of armoured push. And rather not focusing on what's going on here on the left-hand side of the map so far. Still retaining most of the map, and not pushing it towards any greater advantage, interestingly enough. So far though, no sign of a commander choice here either. In fact, both players already 10 minutes in, neither side has chosen a commander. The centre here, the field is a bit of a nasty killing zone with a mortar laying down round after round, having to catch something. There we go, nice job there on the Grenadiers, with the mortar forcing them to moving again. As long as the light machine gun Grenadier squad is moving, I mean, it can't fire the light machine gun, so overall that means you can have a slight advantage there. Pioneers forced back, mine in the way maybe. Because they're forced away though, they didn't quite have the chance. Grenades moving up here, rifle grenades flying through the sky. Oh! Almost got the entire combat unit. More light machine gun fire there. Grenadier squad almost going down in a plume of blood and body parts, but there we go. Having successfully pushed up there, we do see a nice counter-reaction here from Helmut, going immediately for the cut-off point. Showing that while he won't be getting the fuel point, neither will his opponent be getting anything out of it. And looks like here a mid-range shooting Panzerwagen has arrived. The Feldherrn-Halle Panzer Grenadier being, I believe, being one of the few Panzer Grenadiers that's actually received some half-tracks, and thus had a mechanized battalion. Since most Panzer Grenadier divisions actually had no half-tracks, they actually had to rely on trucks, on some cases, Kubelwagens, or, well, bikes. The 17th SS, for example, in Normandy, had 2 of its Panzer Grenadier battalions, I think even 3 of them, on bikes. So that's a little fun fact there, which you probably don't hear so much about. And you've got here now, it's securing the centre on the left-hand position. Oof. I hate that thing there where Sophie goes pop. Gave me a bit of a shock.
We are losing a sector.
Max is moving up, troops moving up. We are noting here a mechanised armour company up for Dots. Half-track keeping things here going at the front line. More grenadiers being rushed forwards. While the mortar continues to lay down the pressure, the pack so far, I mean, Helmut here maybe also slightly sort of exposed things a bit too quickly, giving his opponent away where it is, to a certain extent as well. Max Luke to keep the centre covered. Small unit dispatched over there, good. At the same time, same reaction here from Dots. Rifle grenades almost at the trick there. And looks like he's gone for elite Truppen. Jäger infantry package popping up. Troops are reinforcing. Maximum crew being hastily sent off.
Yeah?
And looks like a lot of munitions are going into these Gewehr 43s. He's already got 2 of them with light machine guns and light machine gun Gewehr 43s. That is quite a bit of firepower in one squad. Can allow them, of course, to sort of get a lot of firepower in one go, but at the same time it also increases the chance of basically losing a lot of it in one go. It can be a bit of a double-edged sword, there, or blade. Noting a fuel cache up here, looks like Dots is realising the fuel situation might be a bit precarious, but also, of course, opting for just getting more fuel. So, nice little idea there.
Pack crew is ready.
Things mildly stabilising, and there we go, an SU-76 assault gun arriving. Been a bit of a while since we've seen one of those. Let's take the pressure up here. Oh! Got the Soviet mortar right there with a rifle grenade. Absolutely bloody shooting there. Oh, country up. Oh, coming the MG42. Bit of a bad move there by Helmut. Oh, extending his MG42. Grenadiers continuing now, coming on apart from several Maxims. SUC is going to fire up in this clump here. Ooh, dangerous work. And there we go, already getting off one hit. Another shot. Oh, direct hit on the half track. Trying to reinforce here while under heavy, intense fire. The SU-6 only doing a bit of damage.
Under automatic fire!
The SU-6 based on the T-70 chassis largely made for sort of supporting infantry information on the attack. So partly I suppose there's a bit of slight self-propelled artillery, otherwise it was in the same vein as the Stug, dealing with armoured targets and whatnot, although in this case, I mean, it's rather relying on high rate of fire. Since it doesn't do that much damage, they have a shot or a high penetration. On the other hand, a few of them can do a lot of damage. There's the advanced strength kind of things, coming in at quite a bit of fire. Rapid, stun there on the Maxim, interesting move there. Also noting he does have a 10-yard vision available here for the MG42. More fire here from the SU-6. And a nice little flank maneuver here, but conscripts are getting shredded by these Grenadiers. Few upon here falling back, looks like, while all of this is going on here, while Helmut is focusing everything up in the centre. He is losing the flanks. Well played there by Dots. Field gun moving up.
AT gun needs orders.
Rather bloody here. Half tech could do with a few repairs. We're noting here another barrage. Come to catch the Grenadiers, I imagine, or whatever's taking his point. Nope, though, I mean, the farther away you are from the target and barraging, the less accurate you are. And the overall, the SU-6 is not that accurate. So, firing at this range is something you generally want a lot of SU-6s then to sort of shoot at the same air to sort of get a nice effect. I mean, generally, if you want accuracy, you want to be considerably closer. So that's a little tip there for you SU-6s. And anyways, any budding artillerymen, range does matter. Range does matter. Remember, there's a video on artillery theory under Propagandacast layer. Then is fighting. Mortars moving up. Nego goes advancing out in the open. Conscripts need to do it carefully. They could probably cut them down out in the open from inside the building. Now, on the other hand, things might be slightly different. There we go. Maxim supporting. Maxim supporting. 2 guns watch. This is definitely not a good attack here from Helmut. I mean, attacking across the open like that is rather begging for heavy casualties. And it's also a bit silly considering he's doing it with the highly veteran units.
Ready.
Mortar field gun, of course, the SU-6 is moving up slower and slower. You're seeing here that Helmut is in a spot of trouble. Panzerkampfbank here, I mean, looks like a support armor core is up. Mortar rounds going down, trying to get that pack 40, opening up for the field gun. Oh, SU-6 move in. Pioneers flanking in, actually quite nice, getting close down the Maxim and forcing away the crew there with a nice swift infantry assault. Gutes Arbeit, Männer. Smaller sneak assault going in here on Grenadiers, but at the same time, good though. I mean, overall not bad, and there we go. In fact, forces way, but overall he actually snug up here using the cover, getting close here, and sort of stuck to cover. Though he might have wanted to spread out a bit more, so both scores wouldn't get stunned there. But overall, nicely conducted there by Dots. Good into the assault rather than taking the direct approach, which would be up here. Good thinking, good thinking. Thumbs up to Dots. Most commendable infantry. This, though, on the other hand, not less good. Basically ended in a massacre. And there you go, Panzerkampfbank 4 arrives to support the Feldherrnhalle. I don't believe they had any panzers, but probably could have received from a nearby panzer division. SU-5 at the same time arriving here for the Soviets. The F-85 tank destroyer. And seeing here a push for the victory points here by Helmut. Also to note, there's been so far no use of the troop training ability, which I do feel is a bit of a miss. Might have benefited Helmut here a bit. So there we go, Panzerkampfbank moves up. Doesn't quite actually hit anything. Quickly trying to lock down Dots' Spartans here on the left flank. The Grenadier response is quite overwhelming for the conscripts. Well, Yuri, I do not think we can hold this without dying horribly.
You need fire support?
SUD5 moving up. SUD6 could provide fire support with the rate of fire. And there goes SUD5 coming under fire from the Panzerkampfwagen 4. Noting both the sites are a lot less, or noticeably less maneuverable. Something to keep in mind. Fails to hit the Panzer 4. Panzer 4 though does rapidly pull back in the face of such unwanted Bolshevik advances. And it's actually time for the mid-game analysis. Concentration here is a bit of an interesting one. We're sort of seeing something that approaches a 50-50 split, but at the same time we do also note that Dots does have some inroads into the territory of Helmut. And also noting that the flanks are rather open here, particularly the left flank, with some smaller forces constantly being diverted over there, while the majority of forces are here, which of course presents some interesting challenges. At the same time, I mean, he should consider actually just setting up some bunkers here. I mean, he seems not very intent on holding it for long, plus we do see here that Dots rather cleverly is actually mining it down, but otherwise he himself should probably either mine it or bunker it down so he doesn't have to constantly shift units over there if he doesn't want to keep anything there over at all. Then the bunker could do well, because then would also force then Dots to have to pull over either some more armor or field guns to then clear it out. I mean, that would open up some options for him. Otherwise, his current situation, I mean, a bit of troop training might be an idea. Getting a Panzer IV more or the Stug could prove helpful, though a Panzer IV I think would be better for sort of dealing with assault guns and field guns in that kind of numbers. A Panzers, some more Panzers perhaps with a bit of troop training on them to get Blitzkrieg would prove advantageous, I think. And of course, the eventuality of the Tigers, of course, should not be forgotten, though I doubt he will. A few mines here and there, and otherwise bunkers were probably doing well, and otherwise, holding out. I think, with a few panzers, he could probably pull off a larger swing attack from here and knock things out there. Or, if he's being a bit more clever, but at the same time, he has less control of this area, and we also note here Dots is mining down, so of course this would be a bit safer, since that's where he's largely been most active, and he knows there's no mines there, so that was probably what I would go for. Swing up here, sort of try to perhaps take the farthest route over here, sort of trying to make it hard to see, and then swing in here, hit everything in the rear as much as possible, and then either pull back under cover of smoke. So that might be an idea there for Helmut. Looking at Dots, who by the way has not chosen a commander yet. I do find that a bit disturbing. But Dots definitely's got things covered up here, but might want to sort of dispatch something to sort of clear out these guys, do a bit of damage. Otherwise, the priority probably should be sort of trying knocking out this hard point here, the Pack 40 half track. And now the Panzer IV providing a bit of a problem there for Dots. The SU-6 perhaps combined with the field gun barrage could probably lay down some fire around here, get things, and then sort of allow Dots to push through there. That would probably give him a few things. On the other hand, of course, he also has to sort of keep in mind, he's seen the stun grenade, and that's pretty much only one commander got that, so he ought to know by now a Tiger Race is inbound, which means he needs to sort of begin preparing for it. Which means more SU-5s, or a bunch more SU-76s. Sort of help deal with it. A few more mines around here would also be nice to sort of try and catch it on its advance. Otherwise, focus should be clearing out this, because once this is fallen, there will be not very much left actually to hold up the gunners in the front line here. So the priority should be clearing out this little trinity here of support and armored units to sort of push forwards, and that way also deny a lot more territory, also have more territory to give off once the Tiger Race arrives. So that would be my thoughts there in that department. In terms of damage and kills, things are slightly the advantage here of Helmut. So certainly there's a bit of pressure there on Dots, but then again, if Dots pulls off a proper assault, things can easily change. So, back to the fight.
The enemy has found us!
Veterans won the mortar, that opens up for a precision strike by the way.
A sector has been cut off.
Everybody continue to hold on there. Ballard's going towards the Grenadiers there. Not finding success again, noting the far range here. Leaves it less effective for things like infantry. At least individual squads. Oh, the SU-5 might be flanked with focus up. Thankfully no focus up, but still needs to pull back. Panzerkampfwagen 4 going in for the kill. Zerstören Sie die Russen 1. But there we go, nice reaction here. Field gun already swinging up, and field gun from SU-6 should turn around as well. Get off some good hits, but no, he's preoccupied with another target. Panzer 4 here though. Damn it, engine not good. He might be able to get the Panzer on the SU-5 here. He might not. Fails to hit. Oh, this is. Oh, scheisse. Not too well handled Panzer assault there. Was close though, but not quite there, and instead we got a burning Panzer 4. That's one less issue then for Dots to handle. And Heinz here being rather close to mine. He needs to be careful with that. Trying to roll here, but going to get caught on the open by the MB42. But no, managed to push it back, but they've still got the Grenadiers up there. Got the MG42, that's going to hurt. Sentry's open here for another push. Until the commander was to arrive now. Still no charge of commander here by Dots. MG42 secured. Mortons going down. I don't think he'll be able to get the MG42 there past the Grenadiers. Looks like he might pull it off. He will be able to use an LMG. That was close. Max doing what he can, but simply be dealt with by the Grenadiers. Or the one here might be rather unfortunate enough to hit the mine. Nope. Pulls it off somehow. Impressive.
We have an isolated sector.
But the second issue 5 and then looks like he might be going for the cut-off point there. He's hoping to sort of disable the resources there. Second Panzer IV, and this time he actually uses some trick training.
To re-establish our supply lines. We have a new SU-85 to deploy.
Molotov's going off. And there we go, the second issue 5, first one being repaired. SU6 here, doing what he can, getting a few kills here and there. Not an awful lot, and he does keep continuing using it at max range. And the pressure right, Panzer IV already laying down the law of the Reich upon those conscripts. Impressively, Helmut has not set any of those mines.
We are ready to go, comrades.
There you go, second issue 5 arriving.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
Helmut here getting rather bold.
Yes, comrade. Supply lines have been cut. Your predecessor died a hero. We are losing supplies to the enemy. Conscripts here.
Troops doing well, his conscripts are getting some good kills.
There are no cowards here.
Clearly Dots know how to use his infantry. Though of course the heavily armoured Grenadiers certainly getting off more kills, and that's not that difficult to understand.
It is now under our control.
Maxim setting about a bit in a dangerous position. Lots of fire going here and already pulling back the Maxim. Should not dispatch more forces for that anyways, there's what here being held up. Half tank not being repaired here by Helmut. Not sure if that is a wise idea. Also, command points are definitely pointing in the direction of a Tiger Ace by now. It looks like resources are being assembled for it. Another barrage. Again, rather far range. Not frightfully effective fire right there from Dots' assault gun.
The enemy has taken our supply
Unfortunate.
sector.
Could be better, I feel.
Gun here.
At least could have had a field gun firing in support as well. That would at least add some volume to it.
Falling into enemy hands. Under fire! Not to mine.
Large infantry incursion going on here, going for the command point. At the same time, we do see, oh, he's got tons of munitions. Not a lot of mines has been laid down. He's got plenty of munitions here for streaming attacks. He's gone guards rifle. And there we go, the Soviet Air Force has been summoned in. Oh, looks like he got the MG42 already heavily depleted. Apparently he did not call back when he saw the red smoke there. Silly Helmut. Needs to be careful to pull back some of his more depleted men. He's got two heavily wounded Grenadier squads. I mean, there's a circling Sturmwing about. He really should pull them back here. Also, that half tank should go out, and there we go. Ah, Helmut. The Sturmwing has been nerfed, but not that much. Oh, come on now. Don't be silly. You lost that one on your own, damn. Providence or whatever. That was their own damn fault. Tiger Ace arriving. Pushing forward here. Field gun opening up. Issue 5 turning. Other issue 5 and issue 16 to turn in as well. Panther 4 blitzing. Good. Nice and easy armoured assault there. going to force the troops into it up, but at the same time, due to the fact his assault guns were a bit spread out, he can actually sort of have others cover the first one, so it's not all bad. Not all bad. Panther 4 actually now being focused down. Nice prioritizing there, I think, by Dots here. Panther 4's going to be now, switching up out several targets. Panther 4 exposing the rear there to the SU-6. Veterans 1, field gun down. Tiger 8 so far has not suffered too much potential around the field gun. SU-5 here getting off a few good hits. Panther 4 pulling away, crashing into the building. Looks like one SU-5 will go down. Panther 4 moving up with the rear exposed again. Oh, Veteran 2 crashing into a house, blowing up. One SU-5 just about to go down. Ace failed to penetrate, it seems. Slightly exposed to the SU-6, and there you go. Veteran 2 increasing rate of fire, increasing damage on the SU-6 with the rear exposed. That's what you call bad news for the Ace. Some shots will bounce, but more likely they will penetrate. And there we go. Got both SU-5s. But a Panther 4 went down, the Ace is down to half health. There we go, continue staying around with the rear exposed. Get the SU-6 moving, Dots, get it moving. Now the SU-5 is arriving. Tracking. Keeps pushing his luck there with the rear exposed on the Ace. Opening up there. Ace almost going down already. SU-6 is, by the way, extremely close to SU-3. One more penetrating hit there on the rear. And again, note using the long range and tracking. Close. Can you do it, Alexi? And there we go. Shot went through the front. Veteran 3 increasing rate of fire further, meaning it will actually fire rather fast. Anti-tank grenade went off, leaving the Tiger is there with the damaged engine. As you're firing up, barrages going in and trying to out the nearby infantry. Getting off a few kills there. Then it is need to be careful. Forsicht.
Be brave, comrades!
Tiger Ace needs to keep moving backwards. And there we go. SU-6, SU-5 opening up. Another hit there. And Tiger Ace kaput. Panther first there on the SU-6. Nice use there of the SU-6 and the SU-5. Nice initial assault here, but some problems there from Helmut overall extending his Tiger Ace, and really not a good idea to expose the rear on it. He clearly made the fatal mistake of underestimating the SU-6, and you should not underestimate the SU-6. He can actually quite handy, although I do think Dot should have had more of it. Out of the way, Helmut here just was crippled. He's lost a lot of his equipment. Several Panzer IVs down, including a Tiger Ace as well. That is hardly a good statistic.
Area secured.
So a bit of a problem there for poor Helmut. He's got his infantry, but at the same time they really can't keep out of either. East Veteran 3 conscripts are proving to be a pain as well. Plus all those machine guns and the mortar. Do see, it looks like a Sturmgeschütz now arriving. I think that might be a bit too late here for Helmut.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory.
Well, let's see if we can pull it off somehow.
SU-76, go ahead.
Another barrage.
Capture complete.
Still fails, largely. Light machine gun, by the way, has not been picked up yet by Helmut. That's a bit odd. You could easily actually have, you know, one spot running up with several light machine guns. And there we go. Took him long enough. Oh, the Skooks are being damaged there. Thankfully, oh, the SU-5 actually ready to move up there. And soon the SU-6 will be as well, which could easily prove a massive problem as well, in particular to be a lot more nimble at Veteran 3. So you should probably get that moving as well.
Fucking Rus bastards attacking!
The front line of the Feldherrnhalle is quickly crumbling.
Behind contact!
Duke there with exposed rear. Now is the time to attack. Lighter, whatever. There you go, tracking opening up there on the S2. S5 moving in. Mortar rounds joining into the fun. And victory points all now in the hands of Dots. A few mines going down there. Dots not failing to lay down more mines as things are progressing.
Taking Soviet fire!
And the Duke here trying to escape the Soviet assault guns and tanks. So there's another patrol on the way for Dots. Looks like it will be a bit too late. Not sure what's going on there. He might have gone temporarily insane for all I know. This, I mean, note here, now this much closer, it's actually a lot more accurate. And actually forces him to retreat right there. So nicely done there. Better use there of the S-76. Again, if you really want to use it for long barrages, you really need a lot more of them to sort of get a proper barrage in.
Assault gun standing by.
All a bit quiet here. Things up just a wee bit. No troop training on this Panzer IV. And there we go, immediate fire going in there.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Points there, troops advancing. Panzer IV here might be running into a bit of trouble. Still remarkably quiet. There you go, popping smoke for Vaterland. But still managing then your damage right there. The Panzer Tactician this time around did not work out well.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Also note, besides popping out smoke, German tankers usually had a few other options for popping out. They could also pop in flares, grenades or S-mines, sort of for self-defense. Little fun fact there, looks like there's 2 light machine guns dropping them. Note that if you do have Grenadiers with Jaegers and MG upgrades on it, you're more likely to actually drop your light machine gun. That is actually something rather important to keep in mind. Seems like some people aren't aware of it, but just want to point that out. Rather important, rather important. Maxim arriving.
Awaiting orders! That's it! Fully reinforced! It's done. We are ready!
The armoured forces here of Helmut are looking rather undergunned, or at least outnumbered, here by 2 S-5s and a rather elite not field gun, but assault gun crew. Duke moving ahead.
Full squad!
There you go, coming under quite a bit of fire. Panzer IV moving straight into a mine by the looks of it. Duke, there we go, down, and GG. GG and game over. A victory for the Rifle Corps, a loss for the Feldherrnhalle in this slightly brutal fight here. We saw a nice start here, despite some problems there from Helmut, but he sort of managed to come back since Dots had a few problems sort of holding things together as things progressed. But then Helmut got a bit too aggressive, made a few mistakes here and there. Slightly botched armor assault versus assault guns and tank destroyers rather gave Dots the edge to sort of knock out the 8 and get back in the fight properly. And once that was away, that rather things really began quickly falling apart there for Helmut. Also good use of the assault gun definitely proved quite helpful and even instrumental in winning this battle. I mean, don't underestimate the Decision 76. That's definitely one thing to keep in mind, I would say. But, you know, nice fight here. I do think, you know, either player probably could have chosen a commander a bit earlier on. I definitely think that Helmut here could have made a bit better use of his commander overall. A bit better use of troop training here and there, I think, would have benefited him more greatly. Also, not really much there. A few panzer grenades might also proved instrumental, but overall, he should have had some bunkers down here and here. It made things much too easy for Dots to harass him with. Dots in there had definitely also felt rather late in choosing a commander and basically only choosing then for the Sturm mixed strafing run. That definitely felt rather awkward. I mean, that could have been a much earlier, much better choice of commander with a greater effect for him, which might have made things a lot harder for his opponent there in the mid-game. But he didn't, and I rather felt that was one of his greater mistakes. So that was one thing, but otherwise, nice infantry play. Good use of mines, smoke, and abilities overall. I mean, really nicely played. Also some nice infantry assault, for example, the one over here. Very nice, very nice. So, hopefully you learned something from this match. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, why not subscribe or tell your friends? Share it with everyone. This is Imperial Dane, wishing you all a good day.